Bowman here from BW1.com, and it's the battle that Sprint users have been waiting for. It's the battle between the Motorola Photon 4G and the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch. Let's get started. Let's start off this versus with a hardware comparison between both phones. Start off here with the displays. The Epic 4G Touch comes with a display measuring at about 4.52 inches, and it's a Super AMOLED Plus display. The Photon 4G comes in at 4.3 inches in an LCD format, but it has QHD resolution. And you're going to see the differences between two screens when we boot up the phones and we go through the software tour. Right above this the screens is the front-facing cameras. The Photon 4G has a VGA front-facing camera, while the Epic 4G Touch has a 2-megapixel front-facing camera, which is much better and much crisper for video chat. Right below the screens, you do have touch-sensitive menu keys, pretty much in the same format of menu, home, back, and search, with just different icons for the respective companies. Now, in terms of size, you can see here the Photon 4G is a smaller device in terms of sort of length and width. It can pretty much fit right on top of the Epic 4G Touch, but when it comes down to thickness, you can see here the Photon 4G is a much thicker device than the Epic 4G Touch. You can see right there between the two of them. And you also can see sort of the button design and sort of layout here, as you can see with the Epic 4G Touch takes a much more minimalistic approach with just a few buttons around. Power, you have your power button, 3.5mm headphone jack, you have your volume rocker, and then you have the 1 micro USB port, which also works as the HDMI adapter port as well too. Pretty minimalistic in terms of buttons, and the Photon 4G is much more open with its buttons and ports, with the micro USB, mini HDMI. You have the volume, dedicated camera key button, power button, 3.5mm headphone jack and such. And it has sort of sharp rounded edges versus sort of the soft curves that the Epic 4G Touch has. Both have cameras, both have 8-megapixel cameras, both have LED flash, with the Photon 4G having dual LED flash, and both can record 720p, but the Galaxy S2 on the Epic 4G Touch can actually record up to 1080p, which is this is a much better camera in the Samsung than what's in the Photon 4G here. It has much crisper pictures, much more color accurate pictures, much better video and audio quality overall than on the Photon 4G. Well, in the write-up of this, we'll definitely put those test pictures and test videos in that write-up, so definitely check that out. The link is in the description. What is nice though is that you do have a kickstand back here for the Photon 4G, so you can view content just by kicking it up like that, which would be a nice feature here with such a large screen. To have a kickstand, you can just kind of view it just like that. But other than that, they both come with pretty much standard stuff you would expect, which is Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS. The Photon 4G has the advantage of being able to go overseas with a 3G SIM card installed in it, so you get 3G global roaming. Both have 4G WiMAX data speeds. They both have 16 gigabytes of built-in storage, and they both have dual-core processors, with the Photon 4G having a 1 GHz dual-core NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor, while the Samsung NX processor, well, the Samsung Epic 4G Touch has the Samsung NX processor at 1.2 gigahertz dual core. So explain that again: 1 gigahertz dual core NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor, 1.2 gigahertz Samsung NX processor, both dual core. All right, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a boot test between the two of them to see which one loads up faster. Try to hit them at the same time here. 1, 2, 3. I think I got it. Got it there. Yep, I did. And we see which one loads faster. You have the dual core screen, the Motorola logo, by the Samsung Galaxy S2 logo here on the side. Little fancy boot up animation here on the Epic 4G Touch. And we're already pretty much loaded up here, while we're still waiting for the Photon 4G to load up here. You can see, and still loading up the media scanner, running, doing its typical load up phases on Android devices. All right, there we go. The little animation right there. I'm saying, get the little Sprint logo, get a little welcome to now. A little slow, but it's up there, and looks like this is finally gonna load up too. A second here. Alright, there we go. So we have both phones loaded up here. And we'll already kind of show you here the differences between the screens. We'll unlock this one over here too. Go to the main screen there. So this is the QHD display. So you guys can zoom in and sort of see the pixel density on that display there versus what you see here on the Galaxy S2, the Epic 4G Touch. You can see the pixel density on there too. The brightness between the screens, it's all roughly about the same. I would say the difference is pretty much probably in the size of the screens. The brightness is roughly the same. I think the AMOLED Plus is just a little bit sharper, a little bit nicer to look at versus the QHD display on here. But the QHD looks really, really good, I have to say as well too. So you're not really losing on either one of these. And we can kind of see the viewing angles here, roughly about the same. Kind of give you a different viewing angle there. Roughly about the same between the two of them. Alright, as that phone gets a new email to it, we'll zoom in here and take a look at the software. Alright, software between both of them here. They both have Android. They both have Android 2.3 Gingerbread with a custom UI overlay on top of it. For the Epic 4G Touch, you have TouchWiz here implemented on top of it versus what you have on the the Photon 4G, which has sort of this Motorola user experience with a Sprint ID kind of combination here on it. And you can see here they're both smooth going through their desktops, but you can see right there the Epic 4G Touch is just a bit smoother, and you can see there just kind of going between there. A little bit of a lag and hesitation on the Photon 4G there. Alright, we'll take a look at some of the uniquenesses between each of the interfaces here. On the Photon 4G, it's pretty much what you've seen in Moto Blur that they've improved with the widgets that they have on it, the app drawer that you see here, and looks almost like the standard Android app drawer. You can sort them out between downloaded, recent, and you can create more groups if you want to as well too, to group between the different applications as you want to. Isn't much here in terms of notification section, but the nice thing here is that if you have many notifications, if you hit that little red icon there, you can eliminate that one particular notification while keeping the other ones there. So that's kind of nice to have. Other than that, it's pretty much standardly what you would kind of see in terms of a Motorola, a Moto Blur sort of Motorola interface here on it for the most part. Here on the Epic 4G Touch, you have TouchWiz UI. This is TouchWiz 4.0. And you get some pretty cool things. You can actually navigate right here between your different home screens. It's a pretty cool feature. The application tray here. Got rid of those buttons that were kind of colored buttons that were surrounding the icons. It just kind of went with just the icons. And you can also kind of do that little cool thing here as well in the application section. Notification section is pretty nice. Gives you all your controls here at the top, which is really useful. Which I know a lot of people really do like having that available up top there. And that's kind of sort of the uniqueness there. But one cool thing here is what you can do is both of them you can pretty much get a clean experience if you want to, but one does a little bit better than the other. We'll open up both Sprint IDs. We'll go to Switch IDs here, and we'll go to the Clean ID for both of them. And here on the Samsung, you get a pretty much a core stock Gingerbread interface, you know, even down to the app drawer just being stock itself. You can go to your desktops that way, you know, the true stock experience. You do get a couple of still Samsung customizations here on it, but you really get the full stock experience that you can see right there. On the Moto Blur interface, you really just kind of eliminate all of the sort of the icons and widgets. The app drawer is still the same as before, and you still organize it the same way as you did previously. It's a little bit snappier because it has a little bit less of the widgets on it, but you can still see a little bit of lag going between the two of them there. But I mean, it really doesn't fully give you the stock influence, but it does clean it up quite a bit. And we'll go back to the original IDs. This is my ID on here and the Samsung ID on here. And one nice thing is I'm going to show you between the two of them is the task managers. And we'll go open up the task manager on here on the Photon 4G, and then we'll open up the task manager here on the Epic 4G Touch. Oops. Open up that there. And you can see between the two of them here, the task managers, it's much more detailed information inside the Samsung one versus what's on the Photon 4G one here. But the nice thing here is that in any of the applications, you can uninstall any of that extra Sprint stuff that you see on here. So if you don't want Sprint Music Plus or, you know, all those type of features, you can just have it not run, or you can just uninstall it completely. Same thing you can do inside of here too. If you don't want Sprint TV movies, you just hit that uninstall button, it removes it right away. And to show you here, kind of gives you the RAM information. This isn't something that's available yet here on the in the task manager. Within here you get about 136 megabytes of RAM to use. It pretty much is about the same, about 1 gigabyte, probably broke it down to about 836 and 900 megabytes of RAM available on the Photon 4G. And you get storage options here as well too. Show you the system storage and how it's sort of the 16 gigabytes is broken down. We need to go into settings here, kind of show you that. Go to storage. Alright, available space for system applications, basically apps. You get about 3 gigabytes available on here, 2.78 gigabytes on the Photon 4G. You get about 1.97, so close to 2 gigabytes available on the Epic 4G Touch. For internal storage, you get about 8.91 total space. You get about 8.6 gigabytes available. I have available space there. You get about 11.5 gigabytes here. Neither have an SD card installed into it that you can, you can add obviously storage to it up to 32 gigabytes. But you can see between the two of them, what's kind of left is pretty much dedicated to the operating system. So just to show you that right there. All right. And I know some people will ask this, even though they really have the same browser, we will use the browsers real quick just to kind of show you the differences. Let's see, we get to the browser here. It's called browser there. I think it's called internet on here. Go Sprint Vision on both. Let's head over to our friend BorderWorks website. You can see the keyboards. This has the Photon 4G has both the swipe keyboard available, and also I'll go to BorderWorks website. It has a swipe keyboard and it has a stock keyboard as well too, which I'll show you here as that's loading up. You can hit there, go to input method. You have the multi-touch keyboard is available as well too if you want to use that instead. So you can see that there and such. Alright, loads up there. We'll load up the browser here. We'll go to the same website. This has swipe available, and it also has another keyboard available too. Alright, go back, go to BorderWorks website there. Wait for this to come up so I can show you that keyboard. It's loading up. This is both on 3G service because the 4G doesn't come into the building that I'm in very well. Hit it there. No, I don't want to copy. There we go, input method. You have the Samsung keypad option available too, which is pretty much a stock one on here. So you can see the different options that you have. And they both do support flash, and you can see sort of the responsiveness here on the Epic, the Photon 4G. Getting these names confused here. You can see that. And you can see it's a much smoother experience here on the Samsung device. And it does have this cool little nifty feature of, we'll rotate it here, going like that if you want to zoom in and out. It's not available on the hit back there by accident. It's not available on this device here, the Photon 4G, but it just gives you an idea, sort of the browsing experience, much smoother here on the Epic 4G Touch, and going between different windows. It's sort of standard like that. They kind of add this little extra sort of window here, little cool interface. Go back to the windows there, you can kind of swipe between the two of them like that. It's nice little cool add-ons and such there. So for a gaming test, I've installed Cordy on both the Photon 4G and the Epic 4G Touch. I'm going to touch them both at the same time and hopefully see which one loads up faster. Yeah, here's the Cordy. It's loading the Cordy game up a little bit faster here. Alright, there we go there. Just going ahead and hit play on both of these. Start off with level 1. start off with here. Start off here and you'll see what the experience is like. It's a quick test game, that's all. Obviously games will vary on the system here. Just kind of just give an idea. Get the idea on that one. See what's here on the Galaxy S2 phone here. You can see there. Alright, so they pretty much have the same in terms of gaming. It seems like the games are pretty fast, pretty smooth. The loading time's a little bit quicker here on the Epic Touch 4G. The video test, we're actually going to do streaming over YouTube, which a lot of people, when you're watching videos on your phone, you're probably going through YouTube or some type of streaming content more so than actually downloading stuff from there. So for the sake of copyright, we're going to just do it off of YouTube. We're going to do one of my own videos. We're going to do the Epic Touch 4G for Sprint unboxing. And on a first impression, so we can compare the quality between the two of them. I touch them at the same time. They're both going over Wi-Fi. You gotta get an idea there.
Bowman here from BW1.com. And yes, it is finally here. We're gonna do an unboxing, hands-on, and first impressions look at the Epic 4G Touch with Sprint, the Samsung Galaxy S2. It's finally here in the US. Let's go right here and start off with the unboxing. Box off there.
We'll go ahead and pause both of these here. They're both used on high quality. Kind of get an idea of the quality between the two. We can see here on the Motorola Photon 4G, they both play the video back pretty smoothly, pretty nice. But it seems like the colors are a lot better and a lot more accurate here on the Epic 4G Touch than what's here on the Photon 4G, which seems just a little bit more washed out. But both do provide good, smooth video playback. Now both phones, like I said before, have 8 megapixel cameras with HD video capture available. Just want to show you the camera usage here on the camera application on the Photon 4G. It's not as smooth and intuitive as I would like it to be. It's a little wonky to kind of get around, to navigate around to the different options and such like that. And what you see here on the Samsung Galaxy S2 phone, which has, I think, a little bit easier of a time sort of getting around to go to different options within the camera's interface, you could see there. And overall, the camera is definitely better in the Epic 4G Touch than it is in the Motorola Photon 4G here. Trying to give you guys a comparison of both camera applications at the same time so you get an idea. Battery life between both phones is pretty much on par. Both of them are pretty much kind of the same in terms of battery life. They really do well. You can get about for a power user, you can get about a full day's of usage on one charge, and if you're sort of a moderate user, you could probably go to about a day and a half. Both have a cool little battery saving mode, which we'll go back to the home screens here, which I'll go into settings to show you. So that's power saving mode there. You can kind of customize it as to what you want to turn on and turn off, and what you want it to manage, and what percentage you want to start that battery saving mode at. This pretty much has something very similar to it, the battery saving mode here. You can also make a custom one if you want to sort of customize how you kind of want that to work out as well too. So you can really kind of extend the battery on this even further. So those are definitely nice features to have. Call quality was excellent on both of them. People could hear me well. The call was crystal clear on both ends of the device. But on both ends of the call rather, the signal strength was good as well too. Overall, both phones are really good phones. It's really just that one phone just outclasses it just a little bit more. Let's pick that phone out. So between these two super phones here, which one is the better phone? Definitely have to go with the Epic Touch 4G. Just outclasses the Photon 4G in many areas, and software, design, and overall performance. It's just a step above the Photon 4G. It's a better camera, like I said, better software on it, better performance with the Samsung processor that's on here. And overall, it's just a better package right now. So if you're on Sprint's network and you are looking for the best phone, the best high-end phone available, the Epic 4G Touch, without question, is the best Android phone on their network. So this is Bowman here from BW1.com reminding you, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, become a fan of our Facebook fan page. Also check out our write-up. The link to that and all our social media is in the description. And I want to thank you guys for watching this Versus, and always remember to live your tech world in high definition.